Hey gang, welcome back to our bathroom remodel. Let me get you up to speed on what we've done since the last video. I installed a single gang junction box on this side of the vanity. I just put a 2x4 between our blocking here to support the box, and then this box is the same distance from this wall as the existing receptacle is from this wall, and they're at the same height. Now this is ground fault protected already, so we're going to tie into this one and run a cable to this side to feed this receptacle. The other thing we did, we put a 3-gang box right here for the heat vent light. We had one right here, but the owners asked us if we could move it. It's more unobtrusive over here and a little more convenient, so we said sure, that's no problem. So I cut out all this drywall right here. If you remember, we had a doorway right where I'm standing, and so we had a inside corner on the drywall. There was a lot of mud right here, and if I'd have just left that and tried to patch where my hand is, where the old wall was, I'd have a big hump here. So I just cut it back. We'll do a nice big patch, and you'll never see that. And then it also allowed me to get my cable in here. So this is a wire, but this is a cable. And this is a, let me show you. See, that's a 12-2. But what do you notice about this, Jordan, from the 12-2 that we run now?
It's a different color. The cable's a different color.
Yeah, this is white, and what do we run now for 12-2?
Yellow?
Yellow. Do you know why?
Only because you told me before we started rolling.
Okay. So it all used to be white, and an inspector would come in a house and he would have to come over here and say, okay, that's a 12-2. That's the appropriate cable for this circuit. And then he would have to come over here and look, okay, that's a 14-2. That's the appropriate size cable for this circuit. But now it's all color coded. 14-2 is white, 12-2 is yellow, and number 10 is orange. So they can just go in a room and look and know. So it's much easier for them now. So like I was saying, this is the original feed for the old box that was over here. I pulled it up and refed it down into the wall. It's long enough, so I'm just going to reuse it. And did I mention that's a dedicated circuit already? All right, so this is a dedicated circuit. What that means is it is dedicated to this device. It doesn't serve any other device in the house, and that is code, and that is what the manufacturer requires also. This particular heater pulls 12.5 amps. You could use a 14 gauge on this, but we already had the 12 gauge, so we're going to just reuse it. And this is on a 20 amp circuit. So let's go down here and show them the fan. It's very similar to the one I took out. In fact, I think the footprint is exactly the same. And it's a Newtone 765H 80L. And it is a heat vent light. It has 3 functions, so we need 3 switches. First thing I'm going to do is remove all the guts from it. So we remove this little screw right here. And one more thing, these plugs are color coded. Can you see that? So the black plug goes into the black socket. So the heater has a red plug. It goes into the red socket back here. So they're color coded. So I removed this screw from here. I'm going to remove the exhaust fan portion, just like that. And what to do with this screw? What's the best place for it?
Right back in its hole.
You got it. So we're going to do that. Then to remove the heater, see these 2 screws here? They give you this access hole for your screwdriver right there.
Oh, wow.
And all you do is loosen them because it's a keyhole slot. Okay, so loosen those and then get in here. You see that tab? You're just going to pop it with your screwdriver. Lift up and should rotate out of there. There we go. And then you can just remove all this now. This is just packing. Keeps that from spinning during shipment. So there's your heater. You see the fan and the heating element in there. And this is why you need a dedicated circuit, because this is what pulls all the current in this unit. So while we're here, let's take a look inside at the wiring. So here's our ground. It's bonded to the case down here with a rivet. Each of our 3 plugs has their own neutral. Those will all get wire nutted together with one neutral back to the panel. And this red is for the exhaust. This blue is for the light. Did I say black or red?
Red.
This black is for the fan. This blue is for the light. And this red is for the heater. So let's get up here. So we're in a remodel. We're going to replace an old fan that was here. But if you had a bathroom without an exhaust fan, you could get it, and you had attic access, you could put it in an existing situation easy. You get in the attic, you cut your drywall out, install the box, and run all your wiring. Obviously a little different project than what we're doing right now, but consider this as a new construction or retrofit. Now you can see, here's our exhaust. Our vent pipe in the attic is right here, so we're going to keep the exhaust on this side. And you can see that's the same size as what was there. But the owners have asked us to move it over. It's kind of over the tub when it's right here. And then this is more centered with the doorway of the room. So we're going to move it over. So our next step, we're just going to enlarge this opening, and then we're going to patch that when we do drywall tomorrow. So let me hop down, we'll mark this out and cut that with a drywall saw.
Right
Here.
Okay.
So we put a scrap of 2x4 here, just one screw into a ceiling joist. That's going to give us something to set the fan case on. On this fan, they want the bottom edge of the case to be flush with the bottom of the ceiling. Sometimes the instructions say that the fan case should be up here on top of the drywall. So just make sure on your fan that you get that one right, because if it's not, sometimes that cover won't fit. So let's go in the attic and install the case. Be sure you wear a dust mask in the attic. If you have this loose fill insulation, it's just brutal on the lungs if you inhale it. So got quite a few mechanicals in the way. Not in the way, but we have to work around them. Gas line. This copper line is for the temperature and pressure relief valve on the water heater. This PVC line is the drain for the water heater pan. But I'm gonna get over here. Here's the old exhaust duct. I'm just going to move it out of the way. We're not going to hook it up today. And the reason why, if you follow it over to the right, see how long that is? That's probably 20 feet. That probably exceeds the manufacturer's recommendations for this little fan. You can't push the air that far. And then we already know from our previous master bathroom renovation that was over here. We have a couple videos on that, right, Jordan?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go back and check those out. We know that whoever put these in terminated these at the soffit vent for the roof ventilation system, which is not the way to do it. We'll take you outside and we'll show you what they did, and we'll show you how we're going to fix it. We're going to show you how we were going to fix it. But then this morning, when I got to the job site, we had a big storm, and I noticed a puddle of water on the floor in the bathroom we were working. And I traced it to a roof leak way up here in the ridge. So I've already talked to the owners. We're going to have that fixed, obviously. So I think the best thing to do is when the roofers come out, they can put a roof cap right here, and we can exhaust this fan out of the roof right here and do the master bathroom at the same time and fix everything at once. So let's get down here. We'll do a test fit first. Nice. See how helpful that board is? That'd have been a bear without it, huh?
Yeah.
Especially if you're working by yourself. All right, so we have a pair. Comes with 4 of these. We're gonna insert them here. They overlap. Push them all the way together. There. There. Do this side one at a time. This side's different. So now we're ready to install it. Make sure I put the exhaust over there. I could move it if I wanted to. I could put the exhaust out this way.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to a new
Yep.
cap anyway, so.
In fact, I might. No, that's all right. I can get out. Well, what do you think?
I think you should come this way,
I
honestly.
think so too. It'll be a lot easier to hook it up.
Mm-hmm.
The electric and the.
Because you got some like what, like a 2x6 over there? Just what is that for?
Yep. This is part of the platform for the water heater.
Right.
There we go.
Nice.
You push these all the way out to your joist, and we're just going to screw it off. Let's remove these first. So that's a 1/2 inch knockout. Can you see this other ring? That there's a bigger hole there if you need it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 3/4 inch knockout. All right, we got the fan box and the case. We've got our 12-2 Romex fed to it. We'll staple this off later when we connect the duct and re-insulate. But before we go downstairs, I wanted to show you this little guy. So this is the transition between this rectangular opening and the round duct that's going to go on there. You see that little flapper? That's a backdraft damper. So if air is blowing this way, it'll close and you won't get a draft in your bathroom. It doesn't go that way because gravity shuts it. So if I turn it around, when the fan pushes air, see how it opens?
Yeah.
And then it closes on its own. If it's upside down, it's never going to shut. So this part, it's always flat across here on top. It's not like that. See where my hand is? You hit this little step, that's upside down. It goes this way.
Good tip.
I wish they had a, well, I guess you could just say, I was gonna say they should have it this side up. But see duct side, can you see that on there?
Mm-hmm.
If that writing is upside down, then this piece is upside down. And there's just 2 tabs. Lock it in place. Just like that. And then I'll come back when we install the duct and we'll put silver foil tape around here to really secure it. So let's go downstairs and connect the wiring. I've got all our wires terminated in our box. Well, run to the box. They're not really terminated yet. We got them stapled to our framing. So the way I was taught was, as much as you can, bring in your 120 volts into the top left corner of the box. That way you always know that's your hot. If these were all yellow wires, I mean, it's easy for me to tell because that's white. But if these were all yellow, I would know that that's my hot because I brought it into this knockout. Does that make sense? Or this clamp. And then these are obviously the 2 we just ran. I've been those 2 out of the way, and here are my grounds. I got them kind of twisted together. I'm going to remove one of them. Just going to give these a little twist just because it's 3 number 12s. Just like that. And then we're going to use a grounding wire nut. It's got a hole in it. It's just for this. You would never use this on a neutral or a live conductor. Okay, and so this will allow us to bond the switches to our ground. It's a little long, we'll just cut it off a little bit. And then I'm going to tuck that into the back of the box. And our grounds are done here. So now let's ground everything up there and get those wires out of our way. We showed you previously when we were down on the ground that this is our grounding pigtail. This green wire that's riveted to the case. And now we have this ground wire and we have this ground wire. Now we have 2 because we had to run 2 cables because of our 3 switch legs. I don't need 2. I just need the 1, but what are you going to do with the other wire? You're just going to leave it sitting loose in the box? That's not a good idea. So we're just going to terminate both grounds right there under a wire nut. All right, now we're grounded. Push those way in the back, making sure none of the other wires go with it. So I want to make sure I have all my wires. There's my hot, or my hot and my neutral for the heater. There's the fan and the light, and 2 neutrals for that. And here's our incoming switch legs and a neutral. I worked on one of these once, and like this blue wire, the light didn't work, and this blue wire was tucked up way back there, and they never hooked it up. So make sure you have all your wires pulled out. So one of these blocks is going to be the heater, another one's going to be the fan, and one of these will be the light. We'll repurpose a neutral, we'll repurpose a white wire as a hot. So let's tone it out, Jordan.
All right.
So in our box, we determined that this white wire is going to be our switch leg. So Jordan's going to hold that on there. And it's one or the other. Okay, this is going to be our neutral. So I'm just going to put a wire nut on it so that I know that that's my neutral. And we'll come down here and we'll make up our neutral from our fan to the neutral from the panel. Okay, we're all connected up here. Now let's go to the box and I'll show you the next step. Remember, that's our 120 volts from the panel. It is off right now. Now that these are connected, I don't need all this wire. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna strip them. I'm gonna go ahead and strip this one. Put a wire nut on it so that when we turn the breaker on, we'll be safe. And then I'm gonna re-identify this white wire so that nobody confuses it to be a neutral. I want to go pretty far back. They should get the message with that, huh?
Right. Like this was obviously intentional.
Yep. In panels and stuff, you're supposed to wrap it all the way back. So there's no question. So now we're ready to sort these out, but first let's put the guts back in the unit. You want to give me the heater, Jordan?
Yeah.
Here we go. I heard it snap into this tab right here, which is holding it. And now we'll tighten these Phillips screws to lock it in place. And we'll plug it in. Way up there. All right, make sure the wires are not in the squirrel cage fan. All right, now for the exhaust fan portion. You get that screw out of there that we put in. Sure not to drop it. These two tabs go into slots in the side of the case. Where are they? That's the fan portion. Plug it in to the black one. And now, why don't you hand me the light portion of it? This is just temporary. This section goes inside the trim piece and holds everything up. But we're just going to install it right now so we can sort our wires out. All right, we have a light bulb. How about that one? Will that one work?
Yeah.
So I got a piece of the sheathing from the cable, and I just wrote on it like that. And that's going to be our little labels. Yep, they're cute. So we turned our power back on at the panel right here. So I'm going to energize each circuit. We're going to see what comes on, and then we're going to label that circuit. I'm completely comfortable doing this. If you're not, get an electrician or sort these wires out beforehand. So we're going to put these together. We're going to see what came on. Okay, that's the heater. We make that safe. Get our heater label, put it on there, bend it so it doesn't come off, put it back in the box.
We know that one's the light on the far right, so.
This other black one is the light?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Keep that safe. Light. So obviously that's the exhaust fan. We'll just check it to make sure it's wired correctly. Yep.
It's quiet.
It is quiet. Put our label on there. And that's it. Tuck all those back. And now we're ready for finished wiring. So we left our light connected just so we'd have some light to work with in here. But you can see how easy this will be when we do our finished wiring to put these wires on the appropriate switches. We can have the fan first and the light second, or then the heater, any way we want. So that's going to be a wrap for this video. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button for us. We'd really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing if you think we've earned it. Drop us a comment down below. We love hearing from all you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.